because everybody's got their own path. I mean, that's an amazing feeling, hearing your name called with that particular award. So, and I think this year's tough. I mean, every year is tough for that category, but I think we've got so many.
Ladies, this is your millionth sign to never build up a man. A man that had to be built up and dragged into adulthood and forced to be made into a contributing member of society will always...
This is the story of what unfolded after Keith Urban's marriage ended, and why his renewed contact with Jennifer Lopez has turned into one of the most discussed celebrity developments of the year. Their communication resumed quietly, yet the timing and emotional tone surrounding both of them elevated it into a conversation that refuses to fade. Keith Urban entered a different phase of his life once the separation became public. The announcement caught many people off guard because his partnership with Nicole Kidman appeared steady from the outside. After the breakup became real, Keith struggled with the emotional weight of transitioning out of a relationship that defined such a long chapter of his life. Reports described him as drained and stretched beyond what fans expected, and that description shaped the interpretation of everything that followed. The first public sign of that emotional shift showed up during a performance of The Fighter, a song he originally tied to his marriage. Mid-song, Keith replaced the word baby with the name of his 25-year-old guitarist, Maggie Baugh. Maggie later posted the moment online, and reactions poured in instantly, which meant a single lyric change turned into a talking point. The moment looked small, yet it carried enough weight to make fans wonder how deeply the breakup had impacted him. A second moment entered the story when Keith stepped away from a radio interview after the hosts asked a crude question about Nicole Kidman's film work. His exit happened abruptly, and the clip moved across social platforms within hours. People noticed how different this response felt compared to the calm and measured Keith they were used to. The shift suggested mounting frustration, and this reaction made observers rethink what he was carrying behind the scenes. Then came another surprising moment at Bridgestone Arena, when a brief exchange turned into something that felt bigger than a joke. During a performance, a fan introduced herself as Nicole, and Keith fell backward in reaction, which immediately drew attention from the crowd and from viewers later watching clips. Some people treated the stumble like a playful misunderstanding, yet sources described Keith as running on empty for weeks. The fall became symbolic of uncertainty, and fans began seeing it as an outward sign of someone trying to regain balance without the stability he once relied on. These reactions created a visible pattern that fans could follow, and that pattern shaped how every new detail was received. Keith didn't collapse publicly, yet his behavior didn't match the grounded artist audiences had watched for years. That shift created a foundation for what happened next, and the pattern widened once another familiar name re-entered the picture. Share your take on Keith's recent behavior, press the like button if this topic matters to you, and hit the hype button so more people can discover this update and stay informed as the story develops.
Exactly.
Well,
that's what the blind says, but I'm just having a hard time wrapping my mind around the fact that J.Lo and Keith Urban are
Well, they've
hooking
already, remember what he said? They've already hooked up.
The most unexpected phase of the story began when Jennifer Lopez reached out to Keith after learning about the separation. Jennifer had been dealing with the end of her relationship with Ben Affleck at the same time, which meant both entertainers were navigating similar emotional territory with the same kind of public pressure around them. Reports stated that Jennifer sent Keith a supportive message, and that message carried weight because it came from someone who understood what public heartbreak feels like. That support landed differently for Keith because his circle reportedly changed after the breakup, and the shift left him feeling more isolated. Many people aligned themselves with Nicole, leaving Keith with fewer relationships free of judgment or divided loyalties. Jennifer Lopez offered something his environment lacked: a neutral voice that did not take sides or fuel tension. The emotional clarity in that interaction mattered more than the message itself, and it gave him a place where he could breathe.
It was not uncommon for J.Lo and Keith Urban to hook up while they spent a few years as judges on American Idol, so the fact that they have reconnected now...
The communication did not stop there, and over time, it began to look less like a quick check-in and more like a steady thread in his life. Reports describe their conversations as steady, encouraging, and more frequent than anyone expected, especially for two people carrying so much attention already. Observers did not label these exchanges as romantic, yet people close to both stars noticed how meaningful these messages became. Timing shaped the entire interpretation, and the timing in this case gave fans something they could not ignore. Their earlier familiarity came from their time together on American Idol, which remains a clear reference point for fans. Viewers who watched that era remember the effortless chemistry, shared jokes, and easy laughter that defined their interactions on set. At the time, those moments seemed like simple television charm, nothing more than two judges getting along. With both stars now emerging from long relationships, that old chemistry gained a new context that people were quick to revisit.
I just don't see that Keith Urban is her type. Like,
no, I don't
think
either.
she's going.
That's why I said I'm not buying it. I mean,
type then.
Their renewed communication did not arrive with declarations or PR statements. It unfolded quietly, and that quiet tone became fuel for speculation. People close to Keith described the friendship as deeper than casual support, which meant attention continued growing. Jennifer Lopez has a history of forming meaningful bonds after major transitions, and Keith appeared to fit that rhythm. Both of them faced criticism after their separations, and both handled intense commentary. Shared pressure turned into common ground.
That would have been actually right towards the tail end. Actually, she just would have broken things off with Mark Anthony at that time. So she was actually single. He wasn't.
It doesn't make it right.
Once clips and interview timelines aligned with rumors, the audience stepped in. Entertainment spaces began connecting dots, and conversations became theories that refused to settle. No confirmation emerged, yet nothing stopped the momentum. Statements from people close to them offered carefully worded clarity. They described the pair as supportive, connected, yet not dating. The phrasing did not close the conversation, it simply left the door ajar. Emotional support between public figures rarely stays neutral, and both have lived lives shaped by public scrutiny. The result was a connection that grew without needing to be labeled. Keith Urban continued rebuilding his sense of self. 2 decades of partnership influenced nearly everything around him, and stepping away from that foundation meant rediscovering what stood without it. His reactions, on stage and off, showed the effort of regaining balance. Fans treated every gesture like part of a puzzle, looking for patterns, meaning, or hints. Keith did not deny the emotional shift, and Jennifer Lopez did not contradict reports of renewed contact. Silence became its own confirmation.
It's weird because
I'm not buying it.
I don't know if J.Lo, maybe she's just, slumming it a little bit. Maybe she's just hooking up with him.
Work remained part of Keith's routine, yet sources described the pressure as heavier without a partner beside him. Rebuilding emotional support takes time, and that process made his connection with Jennifer Lopez feel natural rather than sensational. Reports indicated Keith considered stepping away from Hollywood to regain peace and privacy. Any retreat could be seen as hidden meaning, while remaining visible invited scrutiny. There was no easy path. Jennifer Lopez's presence shaped that moment, not through announcements, but through impact. Hollywood stories often begin quietly, and this one matched the pattern perfectly.
I don't know why it's so shocking to anyone, especially when there was...
It would be shocking back then.
The connection resonated because it made sense. Both careers demanded reinvention, and both lives carried emotional expectations. Familiarity turned into understanding. Keith's transition shifted from a breakup into a narrative about rebuilding. Jennifer Lopez did not start that story, but she influenced where it went. Their communication may stay rooted in friendship or evolve into something more defined later. The timing, tone, and silence hold attention because nothing contradicts the possibility. The end of Keith's marriage opened a question about who stands beside him now. Jennifer Lopez occupies that space, whether intentionally or not, and the public continues watching. This chapter shows how personal moments become cultural conversations before anyone confirms them. Keith Urban and Jennifer Lopez may never define it publicly, yet the story already shapes how audiences see both names moving forward. Share your opinion in the comments, tap like to support future updates, and subscribe to stay connected as this situation continues to evolve.